Today we're going to take a look at another one of Mayor McCarthy's success stories when it comes to preserving our neighborhoods. Today we're going to cover Mount Pleasant, and specifically we're on the Crane Street corridor, the main street and shopping source for the neighborhood. This was once a clothes store that my parents actually ran on Crane Street. And as we walk down further, we see more changes to the area. Basically a population the same size as Scotia, yet there's never more than one patrol car patrolling this area. So imagine if Scotia had one police officer. That's basically the staffing that Mayor McCarthy has provided to this area for its safety. As we continue our walk down this McCarthy success story, we'll notice all these boarded up stores. And a big reason for that is the crime on this street is phenomenal. And again, when you have one police officer, sometimes having two police officers in the vehicle, but never more than one car in this zone, it's impossible for anyone to keep this neighborhood safe. Looks great, doesn't it? Once predominantly an area of Polish and Eastern European immigrants, most of them working at GE. The neighborhood has changed severely in the past 4 years. Those Polish immigrants have mainly been replaced by Section 8 individuals from New York City and the Bronx who come up to this Mount Pleasant area because the rents are cheap. There's no maintenance of any streets, there's no code enforcement being enforced. Broken steps, broken sidewalks, trash littered all over the place. And then we also have this favorite, people parking cars on lawns. And again, a code enforcement issue that is not enforced brings the look of the neighborhood down. Walking a little further down the block, we see a glimmer of hope. They've had enough. And now we're walking towards another interesting feature. You know you're in trouble in a neighborhood when even the fire department is closed down. Maybe we could use it as a police department or a little precinct to keep the... Here we have a mainstay of the Mount Pleasant area, and it's still hanging on. The Polish American Veterans Club, established in 1944. A center of Polish immigrant activity through the years, and a proud place where people held many weddings. And then we go right across the street and we have the new symbol of Schenectady, an abandoned property vacant. Still have some satellite dishes up there. Now we're on Congress Street. This is a store where my friends and I would go to when we were young. Get sodas or snacks, baseball cards, etc. And this used to be an old factory of some sort back in the day. And again, here we run into another problem. A lot of these houses have landlords that are from New York City or downstate, and they're not maintaining them, and the city is not making them maintain them. And here you have a situation where you have cars parked on lawns, no code enforcement, no maintenance, and this is right next to a park. This is a park that serves the neighborhood, and you can see most of the equipment is broke down, not maintained, or ancient. Most of this stuff has been here since I was 5 years old, and that's longer than I care to admit. And here's the playground. Really nothing but an unmaintained, loopy, uneven grass area where the kids can't even really play football or anything else we used to play, touch football. Again, this is the lasting effect of 4 years of Mayor McCarthy's Parks Improvement Program. I don't know what this is for, but there's nothing hanging from it. So it's not like kids can climb it or do anything with it. But nicely they've painted it still, so whatever it's used for, it's painted. Here we have a swing set with one swing missing. Here's a place my mom and dad sometimes would meet my uncle and aunt and go dancing. Ray's Tavern, another Mount Pleasant mainstay. And nothing much happening here right now other than broken windows, boarded up windows, and some graffiti. Okay, now I'm standing at the top of the famous Congress Street Hill. As a child, we would dare each other to go down it either on a bike or a skateboard. And we see another person who has the right idea right here. And as we look down the hill, you can see the disrepair and the lack of zoning, the lack of maintenance, basically the lack of city services. There's some grass that hasn't been cut since Mayor Stratton. This weed is definitely going to be Jack and the Beanstalk height very shortly. And again, this is the 2nd Avenue Congress Street intersection of Mount Pleasant. Congress Street intersection of Mount Pleasant. And again, one of the major problems in an area like this is when the property values go down, people can't sell their houses. When they can't sell their houses, they become rentals. And once the house becomes a rental, this is what it winds up looking like. There's no maintenance, and the house itself is left in disrepair, especially once the landlords decide they're no longer interested in the house and just walk away from it. Okay, we're going to wrap up today's nostalgic tour of Mount Pleasant and Crane Street with a little video of where Marcella's used to be, now has moved to Broadway. And there is the Topper Bar, another mainstay of my father and my uncle's, which is now closed, along with this whole row of stores right here being also closed. So the message here is, if you would like your neighborhood to go the way Mount Pleasant has during 4 years of Mayor McCarthy, just vote him in again, and maybe he'll repeat his success story in your area.